Foreign Students in the Rice Fields of Guiyang. My Life Illustrated, number 13. This takes place in 2014. My name is Raphael Katz. I took a group of mostly European students to a remote part of China called Guiyang. They're having a service trip. They're teenagers, a service trip, you would call it. And the idea would be they'd live with this ethnic minority for a few days and supposedly help them out. It was arranged that they would do a long hike over a mountain and it was timed poorly, so they arrived kind of closer to the evening, and there were still some local ethnic dancers. The custom of the Miao people where we went was to wear big long dresses and lots of shiny jewelry when they danced, and so that greeted the students as they climbed down the mountain. And the students were pretty tired, but they were so after watching the dance for a minute, they all went to their different host families, which were set up in the little village houses in this little remote village in China. The actual service project was digging a rice paddy. The morning when they got up, before they went up to the rice paddy, there were a lot of complaints. The beds were too hard, the mattress too thin, the beds are too short, the food was too spicy, and worst of all was the bathroom conditions. It was basically a hole in elevated planks where the students had to squat. The shower was a faucet with a basin, so you would also have to bend over and kind of use a rag to wash yourself. So none of this went over too well with a lot of the students. The bathroom toilet was interesting because it was actually set up so that the human waste could be used as fertilizer for the rice paddies. So you would see what seemed to be just old ladies hauling the students' poop away several times a day, and so that's I guess explained partly the setup of the crude toilet. Now the actual rice paddy, it felt pretty much like the villagers. They were making money from hosting these students. Just set up something for the students to do and to keep them occupied. And so it was mainly digging for several days in a row. The students were digging. So there's complaints about that too. Why am I paying $2,000 to dig a hole? And in spite of that, a lot of students really enjoyed the scenery. It was beautiful scenery, kind of when you think of Asian rice paddies on terraced mountains, it looked exactly like that. The last morning we were there, everyone woke up to the screams of what sounded like a kid, but it was actually a pig being slaughtered. So the villagers had one little town square there. Since it was on the slope of a mountain, there wasn't a lot of space in this village, and so a lot of things happened in this little cemented over town square. So that morning there was a pig being slaughtered, and the pig was screaming. There were no vegetarians in our group, and so it was maybe an eye-opening experience to see that they'd been to a supermarket to buy a pork chop, but actually seeing that a pig was an animal that could suffer and didn't like being killed or tied down, maybe was a little bit horrifying to the students. If it was the first time they saw a large animal like that being slaughtered, so students and people could eat it. So that was basically the last morning, and I think most of the students, even the ones that kind of appreciated the experience, were happy to leave. Blood had flown, had kind of streamed all over the place on the cement part of the town square. So as students grabbed their bags to go down the steps that led to where their air-conditioned bus would be, the students tried carefully not to step in the blood, and everyone grabbed their bags, And we headed down the stairs and got into the comfortable air-conditioned bus, and it took us to the airport, which brought everybody back to Shanghai. Here are some photographs.